Life is hard in Tamriel, and even in the imperial province of Cyrodiil, the cities and countryside are full of danger. There are many orphans on the streets, gangs of children banded together to raise themselves as best they can. Kai, a Breton, was one of these ragged orphans. His name may be the only thing he has had of his parents, but he remembers nothing of them. This is the only life he has ever known. Life on the streets teaches hard lessons. Kai is adept at not being seen when he chooses, and his fingers are as light as his feet. He can often get what he needs with a smile and a few charming words, but if that fails, a locked door is of little obstacle to him. Despite this unpromising start, however, he remains a decent soul, with a strong sense of right and wrong. He takes only what he needs, and never from those who can least afford it. Kai's chief weakness is a tendency to forget that others are less decent than he, and a tendency to think the best of the wrong people. This, combined with a weakness for a pretty face, is what has landed him in his current predicament. The girl was pretty, and that was reason enough for Kai to start a conversation. Learning that her parents were well-to-do merchants with noble connections did nothing to put him off, and he talked her into a tryst the next evening. However, when he arrived at the meeting point, his lovely friend was nowhere to be seen, and he was cornered by a group of well-paid young thugs, who knocked him out and bundled him into a waiting cart. This is how Kai found himself where we meet him, waking up in a small cell with no idea of where he is or how much time has passed. As he begins to examine his cell, an earth-shattering roar thunders outside. He has never heard this sound before, and never wants to hear it again. The window is too small and too high to see out of, but it lets in the clamour as the soldiers outside rush to their stations, the screams and cries of battle, the ring of sword and axe and arrow, and eventually a horrible crackling roar of flame, the acrid stench of burning wood and flesh, a wave of heat like a physical wall, and a terrible, eerie silence.